Welcome, modern day mystics, fellow truth seekers, James and Justin, back again with another reaction video. And in this one, we're going to take a look at a video done by Eye of Wisdom, and this video is titled 5 Stages of Spiritual Awakening.
Cool.
Which stage are you?
Yeah, good questions. Yeah. Sounds interesting.
So let's get into it.
Have you ever felt a profound shift in your life, as if you were awakening to a new understanding of yourself and the world? Spiritual awakening is like a unique journey, not a straight path, more like a DNA spiral. Some of us loop through stages, others skip, and each journey is tailor-made. While our paths differ, common elements unite us. Let's explore the 5 stages of spiritual awakening, keeping it simple and clear. Today, we are going to explore the 5 stages of spiritual awakening, offering insights into each stage and helping you identify which stage you might be in. At this initial stage of the spiritual awakening journey, one exists deeply within the realm of the ego. It's a state of being where thoughts and emotions govern without conscious awareness. The individual identifies closely with these thoughts and feelings, believing them to be an integral part of who they are. The ego holds a tight grip, leaving little room for a separation between the self and the subjective experience. In this state, individuals may find themselves reacting to life rather than actively shaping it. The sense of control is limited, leading to defensiveness, anger, and negativity. Life seems to unfold as if predetermined, and any encountered trauma reinforces a belief in a lack of control. The individual becomes entwined with their personal narrative, viewing life as something that happens to them rather than something they actively create.
Oh man, that first stage is something sad when you see somebody that's been really gnarled by life. And we all are in some sense, like I've got my own railroad map scars that tell a story of my own struggles in my life. But I'm saying sometimes you see somebody that has not loosened their grip on some thought they had about life, and it's rickered them into a permanent bitterness, and then they're getting old. It's like you don't even have the veracity to be as hateful towards life as you once did. And then people got to come along and like help you because you're just so entrenched in pessimism.
I wonder if in these 5 stages they will mention whether or not like you just fully go from one stage to the next, or do you keep kind of sections as you move along? Like, because I feel like I still have aspects of this. I clearly have
I was going to say that's the other thing.
My life.
Who doesn't identify with their thoughts and their feelings?
Yeah.
But it gets sad to me when it gets to the point where it starts saying, and then it reinforces this idea that there's no control. There's no control. It's like sometimes the greatest control you can have is the control to let go and accept the non-control.
Yep.
If you don't have control, don't terrify yourself more. Go, there's no control. Whee! And that might just take you down the river.
Seeing others is challenging during this stage, as perception is filtered through the lens of one's own experiences and projections. This lack of clarity hinders genuine understanding of others, fostering a skewed view of the world. The unconsciousness stage is characterized by a deep entanglement with the ego, blurring the lines between the self and the external world. The journey towards spiritual awakening begins with this realization, acknowledging the need to break free from the unconscious patterns and explore the deeper layers of existence. It marks the starting point for the evolution towards greater self-awareness and connection to the profound aspects of the human experience. As one progresses on the spiritual awakening journey, they encounter the transformative stage known as ego death. This phase involves a profound breakdown of the ego, the subjective self that shapes one's identity and perceptions. It's a process where the identity constructed around labels such as gender, age, race, and beliefs is dismantled. Ego death is not a physical demise, but a dissolution of the tightly held beliefs about who one is. The individual comes to the realization that the ego, the story they've been telling themselves, is not the essence of their being. All the ideas and concepts built around life, God and religion, are wiped clean, leaving a sense of emptiness and detachment. What emerges from this stripping away of the ego is an internal space, a separation between the subjective self and the observer self. In the unconscious stage, this observer self was obscured, but now it becomes more apparent. The individual starts to comprehend that they are not solely the thoughts, emotions, and identity associated with the ego. Ego death brings forth an awareness of the observer self, the part that quietly observes and experiences life without being entangled in the narratives of the ego. The individual begins to recognize that the ego is not the true self. It is a construct formed by societal conditioning, personal experiences, and learned behaviors. This stage prompts a fundamental shift in perspective, opening the door to a deeper understanding of the self.
Sometimes you can have an experience that can bring this on, and the word that comes to mind is disassociation. You know, have you ever been like in your body and been like, this feels alien?
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes people with certain conditions like certain types of PTSD and personality disorders will say that a subsection of their issues, like one of the things that happen to them, is disassociation.
Yeah.
And they'll get sort of detached. And I'm not a doctor, so I don't know where the overlap is or if there's any correlation really, but that's the word that comes to mind, is that this could potentially be a disturbing state to be in, is to all of a sudden see the unreality of everything that's going on and all of a sudden feel like you're watching yourself. Yeah. Like I'm watching myself say these words. I don't feel like I am myself.
Well, in my life, from my experience, I feel that when you start to get in touch with the observer, when you start like focusing on the observer side, you start to feel your body a little bit differently, and you start to feel how clenched you are. That's I've noticed that in my experience. The more I get into spirituality, awakening, enlightenment, stuff like that, you realize, like, my jaw is so tight. Why is my jaw so tight?
Yeah, why do I hold my face like this? I had that I was looking in the mirror one time and I was like, I've built facial armor, like facial don't mess with me armor that I gotta like, you know. And then I was like, oh, I look goofy when I'm not angry.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, if you've ever publicly spoken, if you've ever spoke to a large group, sometimes you'll have like an outer body experience. You know, sometimes you'll feel like you're watching yourself doing it, and that seems to be, to me, in the same realm.
Yeah.
This disassociated realm, because something about that situation that's very rare, where a whole bunch of people are watching you, can take you out of your unconsciousness, and all of a sudden you're like self-conscious.
Yeah. I haven't even seen the other stages, but I feel like I probably am residing somewhere in here, like in this stage, because it's making sense to me.
Happens when we're talking sometimes. I'll be like sort of aware of myself.
And when you're watching videos like this, you start to like all the stuff that you learn. Like, we've studied so much of this stuff now that it's like it starts to happen faster.
Yeah. By osmosis.
So,
The journey through ego death is about recognizing the illusion of the ego, understanding that the story one tells themselves is not the core of their existence. It signifies a transition towards a more profound self-awareness, paving the way for further exploration into the layers of consciousness and the nature of reality. Moving beyond ego death, the spiritual awakening journey enters the phase known as the search. During this stage, individuals embark on a quest for understanding, seeking what is commonly referred to as the truth. The search involves a deep exploration of existential questions, a desire to unravel the mysteries of one's existence. In the search phase, individuals often turn to various sources for guidance. They may engage with spiritual literature, seek wisdom from spiritual teachers, and immerse themselves in videos exploring profound ideas. The motivation behind this quest is a sincere desire to grasp the essence of who they are, why they were born, the meaning of life, and the nature of God. This search is not merely an intellectual pursuit, it is a heartfelt exploration fueled by a genuine longing for clarity and purpose. The individual delves into spiritual practices such as meditation, contemplation, prayer, or channeling, driven by an inner urge to connect with a higher understanding. As they navigate through this stage, individuals may find solace in spiritual teachings that resonate with their evolving awareness. Reading becomes a pathway to enlightenment, with each insight bringing a sense of lightness and connection. This phase is marked by an eagerness to absorb knowledge that aligns with the emerging understanding of self and the universe. As the spiritual awakening journey progresses, individuals reach a crucial juncture marked by the emergence of the authentic self. This stage is characterized by a profound shift away from pretense and the conscious acknowledgement of one's true nature. In the emergence of the authentic self, the individual reaches a point where the facade they may have presented to the world begins to crumble. Pretending becomes increasingly challenging, and a sense of discomfort arises when trying to conform to societal expectations that no longer resonate with the evolving sense of self.
Ooh, baby mama dada. All of a sudden this adversity to pretense.
Yeah. I could imagine, like, watching this, it might feel a little unsettling, right? Because everyone has the roles that they're playing within society. You know, the job that they go to, the relationships that they've formed over like their entire lifespan, and they're like, I'm that character, and you can feel the ego getting it's getting unsettled because, you know, it knows that there's something under there that wants to come out and kind of like squash the fakeness.
So much comes out in the wash because I think sometimes it's possible that somebody's true self is emerging and then the people around don't get it, so they assume this is a new character you're putting on. What is this that you're doing? And then sometimes you've got to like go off and really grow into who you are. You know, I am not an advocate of like, I don't like separation. I think there's probably plenty of teachers that would say, don't let people hold you down or pin you down. And I myself enjoy isolation. But I understand this idea that the authentic self emerging in a world of pretense, in a world of selfies and, you know, let me just, yo, bro, okay, let me say it just right. Yo, bruh, true. All right, okay, I got my character on and go to school and pretend to be this thing.
Well, there's also...
You build the character that you are for the first chunk of your life. And then when you've carved out enough freedom to be like, this is my literal voice. This is how I literally talk. This is what I literally care about. I love anime or whatever it is I'm into, and I don't care anymore. Yeah. When that happens, it's unsettling for all the... God bless them. It's unsettling for the zombies. They're like, brains... I'm going to eat you for having a brain.
Yeah, well, there's also the worry about, like, you know, my family, my kids. What happens if I'm, you know, if I don't continue to do this thing that I've always done? You know, what will happen to everything around me? And that's real.
Well, here's the thing, okay? Honesty, the truth will set you free. That's an old one. That's an old term. The truth will set you free, you know? But people don't always want, you know, sometimes, you ever read a story about somebody seeking freedom? It is a tumultuous battle to get freedom, you know, but maintain truth when you're doing it. I'm freaked out too. I'm awakening, dear. What do you think I should do? you know, and when you are truthful, when you muster eventually the bravery to be truthful, God's wonders have an opportunity to pour out. And then you could find yourself in a position where you're like, I couldn't have in my wildest dreams imagined that life could be this nice. And that doesn't mean that horrible things don't still happen and challenges are still there. But if you stand true and you're honest about everything that's going on, and I mean, let's say you had a serious issue, like I just gotta kill a lot of people. I really want to kill people. Rather than going and doing it, you take yourself to the authorities and you go, behold, a mystery. I'm the first psychopath to get ahead of the game, say, I'm going to kill people if you don't arrest me. And then now you're on the cover of the friggin' news, you know, maybe and they, you know, all right, I'm going off on a wild tangent now, but I'm saying I really think that it's important to start laying the seeds in your mind of bravery being an aspect of this, bravery to tell the truth about who you are, and then understand that it's the way other people are going to react. You know, you're not really that awake if you're becoming your authentic self and you're planning on how awesome everybody's going to think you are. No, you know, this is a shedding away of the bull crap you lived in for most of your life. Yeah, cutting off limbs of of just nonsense.
This phase often unveils the individual's genuine essence, akin to the self they were before societal conditioning influenced them. It's a return to the authenticity often observed in childhood, a time when societal expectations had yet to mold and shape the individual's identity. During this stage, there is a heightened awareness of what genuinely aligns with the inner self. Unbalanced relationships, occupations that don't resonate, and pursuits that no longer serve the authentic self begin to fall away. The individual feels an increasing inability to suppress their true voice and an unwillingness to compromise on their genuine desires. In many instances, this stage involves significant life changes. Jobs may be left, relationships re-evaluated, and living situations altered to align with the emerging authenticity. This period can be marked by a sense of upheaval, as the old energy that no longer resonates is shed, making space for the influx of new energy. In addition to external shifts, the emergence of the authentic self often triggers internal transformations. Old emotional wounds and psychological traumas may resurface for acknowledgement and release. Emotional roller coasters become a common experience as the individual undergoes a purging process. Physically, the body may manifest ascension symptoms as it adjusts to the new energetic frequencies. These symptoms can range from heightened intuition to lucid dreams, premonitions, and other multidimensional experiences. The individual becomes attuned to a deeper understanding of themselves and the world around them. In the final stage of the spiritual awakening journey, individuals transition into a life of alignment. This phase signifies a harmonious integration of every aspect of oneself with the surrounding world. It goes beyond the emergence of the authentic self and extends into a profound connection with all facets of existence. Living a life of alignment involves a deep understanding and connection with oneself, the soul, the mind, and the body. There's a compassionate acceptance of one's limitations and a forgiving embrace of the imperfections that make up the individual essence. It is a state of being where self-compassion becomes a guiding principle. The alignment also extends to relationships with others. Having embraced one's authentic self, there is a natural overflow of compassion and forgiveness for the limitations of others. The individual recognizes that each person is on their unique journey, and there is an understanding that everyone is doing the best they can with their current awareness. This phase involves becoming the nurturer for oneself, being the supportive parent one may have needed earlier in life. It is a journey towards unconditional self-love, fostering an environment of understanding and kindness within. As this self-love deepens, it naturally extends towards others, fostering compassion in interpersonal relationships. A life of alignment is not limited to the human realm. It extends to a broader connection with the world. Individuals realize their interconnectedness with nature, the trees, plants, animals, the air, the earth, and even inanimate objects. This interconnectedness becomes a lived reality rather than a mere conceptual understanding. While a life of alignment acknowledges the beauty and light in existence, it also encompasses a compassionate acknowledgement of the darker aspects. This isn't viewed with cynicism, but with understanding and an awareness that every aspect contributes to the richness of the human experience.
I feel this urge to like pretend as if I didn't totally get that, because I don't want to come off as arrogant, but that video seemed awesome, and I acknowledge that there's somebody further along in the journey than me that's like probably find it cringy that I liked it so much.
I thought the Eye of Wisdom did a fantastic job on it.
Awesome.
My honest take on it and my reaction is that I feel like I have felt every stage, but I'm bottom heavy. If that makes sense, like a pyramid going up. I feel like I'm like a pyramid going up. Like, I don't know, is there anyone out there who could put their hand up and say, I'm living in 100% alignment right now? I don't know if there's anyone that could say that. Maybe Jesus. I don't know. Maybe there are people who can say, I'm living in full alignment. I don't know. I just don't think I'm there. And I feel like I've experienced every aspect like within there.
I think there's a lot of people that would resonate with what you're saying. I actually think there's a heck of a lot of people, because we have access to this secret knowledge now. You could just click away. You can watch a video about where this is all going.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of people that would resonate with what you're saying. All I would say is this, without coming off as some, I've got my friggin' flaws, okay?
Yeah.
But I do feel like compelled to say some of the things that I think will help you in this journey would be cultivating just a little bit by little bit bravery to speak your truth, which is kind of a cringy term, isn't it? All that woke language I'm not a big fan of, but it turns out you do have to have a little bit of bravery to speak your precise truth, which is probably the thing that you're hiding. So as you grow bravery to speak the truth about yourself, what's actually real about yourself that you bury so society doesn't see, you better be true. You better be the truth.
Yeah.
Because I think that there's so many mistakes. Somebody could watch this and be like in the cult of spirituality and be well, I'm just going to start acting out the late stage thing. So I'm going to be real nice to everybody. Yeah. Nice as pie. But how are you going to, one of the things you mentioned was an understanding of the dark side of things.
Yeah.
Do you really understand the dark side of you? That part of you that's like jealous as hell of the more spiritual guy? The guy that shows up with longer hair and more braids? Yeah. Or are you like, like warring gurus?
Yeah. No, good video, lot to think about. You could watch that probably a couple times. But guys, if you enjoyed our reaction to this, please don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, share this with a friend, and everyone until next time,
stay spiritual.